So I don't have a bell ring. So if you could all please stand and we can recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial for all concerned? Sam.
I have a loud voice as well.
Yay!
Let's pray. God, may we take a moment to just thank you. And thank you for all the amazing blessings in our lives. May we as Rotarians continue to do all that we can to build a better future for our families, for our communities, and for our world. And may we always implement the test in everything we do. May our lives reflect what we wish to see our society become. We ask that you help us. Give us the strength to stand against injustice and to love those who may not love us back. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sam. All right. So I'm kind of standing here. I don't know. Maybe a little easier for me to project my voice. Introduction of guests. Former District Governor Rick Ricker. Assistant District Governor Don Peterson. And I do not see Gloria or Jill or Don. Any guests?
Could we sing My Country 'Tis of Thee?
My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Thanks, Dave. All right. Any guests? Adam. Adam has a guest.
Yep. Heather's back. He really liked you all so much. He said, we got to come back, and he's also going to give a happy dollar, too, whenever that comes.
Nice.
Give him a cookie.
Any other guests? Did I miss any other guests? All right. Rotary-related announcements. Heather, do you want to do the speech one, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. So Jeff Burks is not able to be here today, but we believe that we have raised about $3,800 from the peach sale. About 98% of Rotarians made a donation of their peach funds, peach purchases, even though you didn't get peaches. So thanks to Rotarians for donating. So we had a board meeting this morning, and we did talk about this a little bit. Normally, we get about $4,000 to $5,000 in our peach sales, so we're pretty close, considering that we didn't get peaches. At least we had some kind of fundraiser.
Oh, that's it.
Other Rotary-related announcements. Mark.
October Rotarian magazine. Dug into it this morning. Everybody should read it. Just all kinds of facts this month.
Great, thank you. Other, Aaron.
So next Tuesday, the 29th, we're going to shoot for the roadside pickup at 5:30. We'll keep it pretty simple, just meeting right on that road, right by the zoo entrance down there. And if we could get right around 20 people, it makes it really easy. It takes only about an hour. And so there'll be further instructions there. We'll have water. More than likely, we'll just do kind of a lunch like this, kind of a to-go type deal. But I'll talk more with Jeff on that. So as many volunteers as we can would be great.
Lee.
So just a reminder of the, I'm a member of this club, but I'm assisting a gentleman I work with for the morning club, right? The Sunrise Club. But if thank you to those who have done it or who have purchased roses for loved ones. They are doing their 28th annual Rotary Rose Sale. The proceeds will go to benefit youth programs at Brainerd High School, scholarship leadership programs, Rotary Camp. And yeah, $20 a dozen. You can either order online or I'll deliver. It's easy. It's easy for you, or you can pick them up. That's all.
Other Rotary related announcements. So I do have one. We did have a board meeting. We weren't able to have a quorum last week, so we met this morning. And you are going to be getting yet another survey. So thank you for responding to the surveys you have received. The board discussed this morning the possibility of doing in-person Rotary meetings indoors. If we can find a space that we'll be able to safely social distance. So Dennis Drummond Wine Company is able to provide a space for us. They can seat about 150, and we generally have between 40 and 50 Rotarians that come to our meetings. So Heather's survey today, we really want to make sure that people, we want to know how you're feeling about an in-person meeting indoors. So we have been blessed, at least the last 2 weeks, with beautiful weather, where we've been able to meet here at Rotary Riverside Park. But next Tuesday, it looks like it's about 50. So I think we need to maybe start discussing whether we're comfortable doing in-person meetings or whether we're going back to Zoom. So watch for Heather's email. Mike?
Rotary Foundation does grants to community entities, mostly involving youth and youth activities. And we've tried to report on some of those over the year, and we try and do a better job of that. We do have some additional money in the foundation that's been transferred from the club and that has been accumulated. And so if you're aware of or connected to nonprofits, particularly dealing with kids, but in general nonprofits in the area that have been negatively impacted by COVID and still are in straits, consider suggesting to them to go to our website and look at a grant application for some relief. So we're open to that, and leaving that whole grant application process open for a period. If you can share.
That's pretty cool. I don't know, very timely though. Yeah. Any other Rotary related announcements? Don, okay, Buford. Buford has some awards to give out.
Having not met very often, these are awards that started coming in January, and really interesting. We have 3 Paul Harris Fellows that have received the Paul Harris pin plus 3 rubies. That's as high as you get before you become a major donor. And 2 of those people are here today, Rick Bricker and Dan Clement. They would come. Dan?
I would normally pin you, but it is COVID, so I shall just hand it to you. Congratulations.
It's not how much you give, it's how systematically you give. These 2 individuals have dedicated not only their time and their money to Rotary, but their talents. Mr. Governor. Rick is not known, he's known for years. Dedicated to Rotary. And dedication and time and energy.
It says the 2020 census.
Now we have, I received 5 pins.
That's the only fun.
Paul Harris Fellow pin plus 3 sapphires. And not everybody's here and I haven't been able to give them out yet. But Dan Brown's not here and Nancy Hall's not here. Steve Northway's not here. Don Peterson is here. And Don Ryan, Mike Sands, and Steve Scherner. Steve here? Come on up, Don and Steve.
Congratulations.
Again, time, energy, and money. These are true, dedicated Rotarians. We really appreciate your help. Do you have anything to say?
Well, thank you. I think Rotary is a great organization, obviously. I've been in it for 35 years and 36. And the first year I didn't have perfect attendance, but I have had ever since.
Wow.
That time I missed once, and I didn't know about the makeup business.
I looked the other day. I think I've been a member for 38 years in Rotary. When I retired, I decided I was going to spend some of that foundation money. So I spent 10 years doing projects in Haiti.
Hey, congratulations. I've got more pins to give out, but Andy Reagan's not here.
Hey,
Oh, he is? Oh,
Yep.
Andy.
he's hiding behind those Ray-Bans.
Andy, come on up. I tried calling you today, I couldn't get an answer.
Oh, I'm here.
Paul Harris plus 5 sapphires.
Wow.
You gotta say something.
Well, I think for me, one of the things that having 4 small children, I recognized that I probably wasn't going to have the time component to put into a lot of these things. So my wife and I made a commitment that we were going to try to do what we could from a financial perspective to support Rotary and Rotary International and everything like that. So hopefully someday can maybe have a little more of the time component, but for now this is one of our main focuses. So thanks.
Thanks, Andy.
And a true Rotarian is really going to look at this magazine. It tells you how effective we are and what we've done in the world. And remember the big push we've had for Polio Plus? Well, that structure and that organization has been kept together to help fight other diseases. And they're very active right now. The whole structure is active right now in fighting the COVID-19 virus. And a few years ago in Africa, when some of the major diseases popped up, that same structure was there to take it on. So our polio program has morphed into a much larger impact than just the polio decimation. So remember, we need your time, we need your talents, and we need your money. Appreciate anything you can give us. Thank you very much.
All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Andy Rangan, our Sergeant at Arms today. Give him a great round of applause.
All right. Well, that was great to have in person. It's shifted a little bit, so obviously people aren't going to be able to share their pictures today. A little different, but that was kind of a fun thing. So maybe we'll go a little bit more fine related. So anyone here who is retired and can enjoy the nice weather this week, I think a $1 donation would be perfectly appropriate because it is nice. I may or may not be going back to work after this, or maybe taking a spin on my bike that I rode down here, since it's so nice out. Next item, it was great to have some entertainment come back to us when the Twins started playing and baseball started up again. And my kids have watched every every second of every game, I think, in addition maybe some of the replays, which they don't mind. But the Twins made the playoffs in the new format, and as long as that goes well for playoffs, I think that's going to be fun. So if you've enjoyed the Twins, I'm going to specifically say the Twins here, coming up for my next fine is going to not be so happy. The Twins, if you've enjoyed the baseball being back, please donate $1. If you watched that Vikings game in its entirety, I think that's like a $10 fine. But at least $1 if you stuck with that game. They don't deserve it, I don't think. I even listened on the radio, and Paul Allen, the announcer's like, if you're still listening, you shouldn't be, basically. So pretty rough to watch that and see that happen. And then the last one, the one nearest and dearest to my heart was, did anybody know what wrapped up last week? Guess what that hint? Tour de France. Probably will go down as one of the most exciting Tour de France, plural, the Tour de France's in history, and the way that it ended up. But a couple of Slovenians, a 21-year-old and a 30-year-old Slovenian, duked it out to the end, and the 21-year-old got him on the last day. So very exciting tour, and it was nice that they actually were able to pull that off and do that in a way that was able to be entertaining. So with that, I'm just going to go on and go with Happy Finds.
I just put all my money in the hat, so I don't have any more money. Yeah. But I just wanted to share, and this isn't a political thing at all, but on my way back from South Dakota on Sunday, I got stuck in a Trump parade. Oh. And there was probably about 100 cars, and I was right in the middle, and from Fergus Falls to Battle Lake, I was stuck right in the middle. Oh. So I'm stuck in the middle. Well, my thought is, if Trump wants to make America great, 210 needs to be 4 lanes.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in 20 to get caught up. First of all, I apologize for not having the PA system. It's my fault. I didn't check the battery. It got left on. The battery went down. So the one time we really need the battery, I screwed it up. So I'm sorry. And then this damn plane keeps going over. I don't know if it's on video or not.
2020 census do it, if anybody didn't get that right. I mean, what a way to spend some money on that.
The other thing is, a week or two ago, Brett Anderson called and asked me if I wanted to go up in his powered parachute. And I was there in a minute. It was great. So I got some video of that. It's on my, I don't know where it is. It's online somewhere. It's great. And our reporter from Lakeland News, Brad Hamilton's going to do a story about that. It'll be on tonight about 10:25. So I've got to get him my raw video as soon as I'm done here. And that'll be online too. So that's a lot of fun. Enjoy.
So, with all the big dollars, I bet you have change for 20. I owe that dollar for the fine too. But I just wanted to share something that's been really fun. Is this Crowing Energize has what they call a pop-up produce, and it's this Monday. And if you get a chance and you want to volunteer, or you know someone who wants to volunteer, they gave out last month 30,000 pounds of free food to people in the area. And if you have a friend or family member or you know a neighbor that is in need, no questions asked. They go through and they get lots of free food. And it's really good stuff. So pop-up produce.
Where is it?
Oh, CLC. Sorry, in the parking lot over at CLC. Yeah. And more information, just type in Crowing Energize. But it's Monday afternoon.
Andy, Jim paid his past fines just now too.
Very good. Yeah, if you have any past fines, catch up on, certainly to do that.
Got time for one more?
Absolutely.
So last week we had our Leadership Experience Nonprofit Day, and for me it's a special day in that I used to work for nonprofits for about 6 years and then have been on boards. And I just want to thank Sam. We went to Minnesota Teen and Adult Challenge. I didn't think we'd be able to go in, but as long as we had a mask on, we could go in. And the feedback from our participants on that was tremendous. And I just want to share Sam's passion for what he does was so transparent and really moved a lot of people that day. So my dollar goes to Sam. Thanks.
Okay, I've got 5 happy dollars that I maybe should have. This is almost a Rotary announcement, but I was so pleased to make this that I wanted to make sure that I made a donation. So let me tell you, you all are aware that we had the goats over here, and we started out with 30 goats, and they cleaned up about 6 acres, and at the end of that time, we had 240 goats out here in the park. Wow. They didn't reproduce, they just brought more goats.
Where are you going to go from there?
Next month we're going to have a work day in the park, and it will probably be a lot of heavy lifting and machines and so forth for cleanup. John Landsberg, who we haven't seen here much, but just this past week he had some free time with equipment and crew, and so they were down here doing some cleanup. So that's a shout out to John. Thanks for, and well, what a great way for him to make use of his crew if they didn't have paying work to do, because this was not paid. Next week you'll probably see some dirt moved here, so we'll actually get that project off the ground. Brainerd Parks has agreed to, we don't have a restroom back here, but Brainerd Parks is going to provide a satellite until there's a permanent restroom. And as you're leaving today, as you go past the entrance, if you look to your right, you will see a number of white stakes in the ground. And we are hoping that we will still be able to spade in several evergreen trees at the entrance to finish that, or to get that landscaping closer to done. And after this meeting, I want to talk to David Winkleman and Mark here. So you'll get a to-do.
All right, so I got an extra happy one. My wife Kayla and I are expecting our first child in December. Yay! So we've had a lot of fun getting stuff ready around the house, and we're very excited. So
congrats.
Thank you.
So one of our very first graduates of our program in Brainerd from December of 2009 has went to our Leadership Institute and then took several positions in Minneapolis. Well, then accepted a position at the Prison Fellowship Program at the Lino Lakes Prison as a counselor. Then he was made the director, and he has just now been named the new executive director of a brand new adult and teen challenge that's going to be going into Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I feel like a proud papa because he's going to be like on the ground level starting a brand new program, and they have an incredible group that's already formed. They already formed their 501c3. They have $1 million already raised to start a building program, and $400,000 for executive director salary for the first several years. And he's just stepping into a golden opportunity, and I'm just so proud of him. He's an amazing young man and wife and kids, and so it's just really a cool thing. One of our graduates who was a major mess, got a downward departure from the courts many years ago, and just super proud.
All right, so we couldn't share pictures, not that I would have known how to do it, but yesterday I was out riding my bike with Brian Thuringer and Jim Anderson. We're coming south on the Paul Bunyan Trail, about a mile south of Pequot, and I'm looking all over the place, I'm enjoying everything, and I kind of glance up and something catches my eye in front of me. First thought was, oh, the pheasants or the turkeys are out. I look a little closer and I went, no,
Those are bears. There was 4 bears standing on the trail in front of me. I went to a halt as quickly as I could, and Jim and Brian, who were a ways behind me, wondered why, and they looked up and they went, "Oh, okay." We waited until they left, and all of a sudden they scurried off the trail, and they looked at me and said, "You go first."
Great friends.
Friends like that.
Yeah, so I did, yelling. But no, that's a happy dollar for the getting out and the exercise. I already paid, but that's all right. Saturday, I got to spend the day out at Madden's. My daughter Natalie got married out there, and we had our reception out at the Madden Pavilion. Absolutely beautiful spot, great thing for our area. Wonderful day. So here's 20. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good week.
Thanks, Andy. So our Mark.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Is anything happening with the Strive program?
Don?
I sent out a feeler email to the principals of both schools, the counselors at both schools, and Trevor and Nick. I have not gotten a response back from them other than the question came from Pillager. Would you be willing to do this in the format of a Zoom? And I says, yes, but this is going to take a heck of a lot of work and coordination in order to try to get people set up and all that. As of right now, we do not have anything organized. But they were both talking about this would probably have to come a little bit later if we're going to be able to do it at all. Now, unfortunately, up the road here, the Pequot Lakes or Central Lakes Club is doing 2 schools. Of course, they've got a superintendent of schools up there who's a member of their club. And I think they're going to, about a week later than getting started, but they're going to have a program up there of the type we're talking about. And I hope to parallel that to the people here. I am not taking charge as being a leader. I'm the one that started out with the questionnaire, so to speak, because nobody else seems to be stepping up. And as of right now, I have to say, we don't have anything going yet. We're still hopeful.
Right, stay tuned. Thanks, Don. So today we were supposed to have a presentation by Jim McBreen. We got about 10 minutes for our program. Mark, go ahead.
Business after hours, Grandview Lodge, 4:30.
Thank you so much. So we were supposed to have a presentation by Jim McBreen today, but he needed a PowerPoint presentation. So Dan Hegstead stepped up, and we're, I think, going to have kind of an interactive presentation.
Yeah, I'm going to chase you with my drone.
All right.
See how fast you can run.
So with that, Dan.
I got a gun in my truck.
It's going to get. I'm not going to try. So on short notice, I thought, well, we'll talk about the drone and see. We got a few minutes anyway. I could do a full hour on this thing, but we'll cover the basics. Andy's here. Andy Rangan's a drone guy, and I asked him if he wanted to be part of it. I said, we'll wing it.
All
right, let me pass some stuff around here. This is my Mavic 2 Pro. You can take a look at it. Here's the battery that goes in here. Here's the camera in front. This thing actually folds up like this for transport. I can take the propellers off, which I do, so it fits in my case. But you get an idea of how heavy it is. It does have lights on the bottom. These things are sensors to supposedly, hopefully, keep it from crashing into things. And so far, so good. So you guys can just take, you can pass that guy around. Pass some other things around here too. Normally I might do this with a PowerPoint.
Well, the battery's got a lot of weight.
How much? How much does all this cost, says Rick? That drone, and then I bought a better quality controller. It's actually got a super bright screen so you can actually see it out on a sunny day, which is when you're flying. All this together was $2,200. So I will, I'm not going to pass that around. I'll pass around some pictures that I have here. Here's a screenshot of what the controller looks like. It's not my picture, I just found that. People say, how you having fun with your toy? Let me tell you, it's no toy. It's not even that much fun. There are toy drones, and there are people who have fun with these. This isn't a toy, and I don't have a lot of fun with it. It's pretty cool. But I started my video business 4 years ago, and then for Christmas, my son-in-law gave me a drone. I opened this big box, it says DJI Phantom 3, and I thought, boy, you can fit a lot of socks and underwear in that box. I opened it up, and by golly, here was a drone. I didn't fly it for 4 months. I was so afraid of it. But I got it up in the air. The first time I crashed it was right here at Rotary Park. So I learned where you get these things repaired.
Which is where?
There's several places. There's one down in Savage that's really good, as far as I know. So I do it as a business. So I got the drone license from the FAA. It's on this level of licensing, and then you guys that are real pilots are up here. But it's a lot of the same stuff they make you learn. Why? I don't know. It's just crazy. I studied like crazy for the test. This is an example of the sectional charts. You have to be able to read everything on there and identify everything. You have to know what's on here. This tells about some airport in Alabama. There's one for every airport in the country. So that tells you all about the airports. Weather reports. The top on the part on the top here is the code. Why, I don't know, but this is what that all means, and they're going to ask you that on the test. What does that mean? And then you have to answer it. One of the things you have to know for the test is about the various publications that are available. So learn that list too, because they'll ask you about that. Regulations, airspace classifications, weather sources, effects of weather, how to load, all the physics of that, emergency procedures, crew resource management, radio communication. Why? I don't know. Small performance, psychological factors. I'll tell you, that was one good thing, because this is very stressful. And they have a real procedure to handle stress. And it's good stuff. As a matter of fact, decision-making processes and so forth, it's good stuff for anybody, no matter what you do. But if you're flying, you have to make some decisions pretty quickly, and they can be really important. So how do you do that? This isn't that big a deal. If something starts going wrong, you just take your hands off the control, the thing stops, and you can sit and think, okay, where am I? Which way is forward? What's going on here? And then if you're flying an airplane like Osterlo and some of you others, you don't have that luxury of time. So that was good.
Yeah, I'm perplexed. May I ask?
Me too.
I thought you could just buy one of these at Walmart.
You can. And you should. Don't do this.
What's all the training? What level do you
If you're just flying for fun, just buy it and go have fun.
Okay.
That's all you need to do. If you're going to charge money, you got to get the FAA license. Then which costs $150 every 2 years to test, and then you've got to have insurance, which is $600 a year, and you have to license the aircraft with the state of Minnesota, which is $100 a year. So I don't know, it's like $2 a day it costs me to own the thing. And thanks to David Winkleman, it's finally paying for itself. Dave hired me to shoot some of his solar arrays, because that's how you see them, is up there. What Dave bought my old drone, and what he found out was it's just a lot of work, and if you don't do it on a regular basis, it's no fun and it's hard to do, and just hire Dan. That's what you got to learn airport operations, maintenance, pre-flight procedures, registration, marking requirements, abbreviations and acronyms. Holy cow. Let me tell you, the government, FAA knows about those. So you got to learn all those things. So it's a pain. Types of jobs I've had. The first paying job, I had a lake association hire me to go up and look at a wetland to find where the beavers are. They're out there somewhere, and if you hire a guy in a canoe, it's going to take a long time. A guy or you can hire a helicopter for I don't know how much, or me for a few dollars. Don Peterson hired me, forensic engineer. Crash site. It's, you can see one thing on the highway from here, but if you get up 150 feet and they're shooting straight down, it looks totally different. You can't see that any other way. Commercial inspections, I've done that. Hubbard Radio hired me to inspect one of their towers, which is pretty cool. Dave's got me doing his solar things, and I did in our church, the Congregational Church, I was doing a video about the church. Beautiful, huge stained glass windows in there. I wanted to get video. So I took the drone in our church and could get up there and shoot those things. So basically it's a flying camera. It's just one more camera that I have. The camera on that unit is a Hasselblad 4K video. They make a version of this with a zoom on it also, but with 4K in the software you can zoom in later. That's what I did with like Hubbard Radio. They needed to see this tower, so I just flew around the tower and then sent it to him, and he said, okay, at a minute 31 I need you to zoom in at this point. So I got zoom, 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 zoom. He could see exactly what he needed to see. So that was pretty cool. Done a little real estate, not too much. But it's like I said, it's a flying camera. You get just some cool shots. The Brainerd water tower. I did a video about the water tower. Part of it is getting up there and seeing what does it look like inside there and up above there. There's no roof, which is part of the problem. So. There are rules. Now, what's funny is that if you don't have a license, there's fewer rules. And the other part, well, the rules they're this if this, but that if that. And there's people who should know who don't know which is which. It's confusing. And you're dealing with the federal government. You cross them, it's a bad thing. But, so you're not ignorant. I don't know, don't get me started. Rule 1, you have to fly below 400 feet from where you took off from. So if you're on the top of a 1,000-foot building, you can still go up to 1,400 feet. There's software that tells you where you are and knows what airspace you're in. So I know that right here, I can't go above 150 feet because we're near SJMC and they've got the helipad there. If you're a hobbyist, you can't be within, I don't know how many miles of an airport. But if you got the license, you can be much closer. Then there's some rules that said you need to notify them if you're going to be in prohibited airspace, and other rules say you have to ask permission. I tried to ask permission of Camp Ripley to shoot down there. 6 months later, a guy called me from Texas, and okay, he was going to get it all set up. They were going to send 3 people out to watch me, and I had to do it on their schedule. What if the weather's bad? Too bad. So I don't know where these people were going to come from, but I finally said, you know what? We're not going. Just never mind. Just stay home. It's all right. You're not allowed to fly. One rule says, or one interpretation says, you can't fly over people. Others says groups of people. Well, how many people is a group? I don't know. They're going to probably send me to federal prison, and they'll go to court, and I'll say, get my lawyer to argue that. Well, it was 4 people. That's a group. I don't know. You definitely, stadiums and sporting events, stay away from that. Emergency response. You get these dumbass people that, there's a fire, they're out in California, they're trying to bring in aircraft and helicopters, and some dope's out there with his drone, Uh-oh, it's 1 o'clock. It is.
David,
I was wondering, are you going to fly above us and take a picture of the group?
I'm going to do that.
Do you ever work with law enforcement?
Have I worked with law enforcement? Good question. No, I have not, but you can get different cameras, infrared and so forth.
I've experienced that.
They told me at the Aiken testing site that they have the Crow Wing sheriff and the police and a whole bunch of people over there for testing. So they're doing it on their own, and they're doing the right thing. So, yes, I am going to fly. I'm going to take off here and see what we're dealing with.
Oh, why can you go there?
Yes.
You can go back. Get down.
Can you get the banner?
Shoot him down.
Is the battery charged?
What's that?
Is the battery charged?
The battery is charged. It'll run about 25 minutes. We do have a landing pad because when I was flying for Don, the only place I could take off was in the grass or on the dirt. Well, the dirt gets up in the motors. The grass was too tall, so the propellers wouldn't turn. I had to find the top of an old coffee can for it to sit on. So I bought one of these guys. The drone is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to be pretty quick here, guys. Battery runs about 25 minutes. I've got it set to alarm me at 20 minutes or so. Or when it gets to 20%. If I keeled over and the battery got down to a certain percent, it'll come back and land there on its own. So that's pretty cool. How far can you go? Well, the rule says it has to be in your sight at all times, but the thing will go 4.5 miles.
And how would you know that?
It's in the statistic. So they say. Yeah. It will follow you. It will do a pre-programmed route, which is cool. There's a guy out in Minot, North Dakota, had a big hospital being built near him. He went out there every day or whatever and had his drone fly exactly the same route. Exactly. This thing is precise. And so he puts that together in a video, and so once it's done, he's got a 1-minute video that shows the hospital being built, but he does it in a whole arc like that. You're not going to get that any other way. It is way cool. I suppose I better turn it on. What else can I tell you?
Have you ever crashed it?
Not this one. And I'll tell you, the sectional chart that's going around, that goofy thing, those actually are a good idea, because when I was shooting for you down by Cold Spring last week, I found there's a cell tower real close to where I was flying. I didn't see it. I found it on the video later. Hopefully, I think this thing would have avoided it if I gotten too close. But yeah, that was exciting.
Well, Dan, that active track that you have that has, we were talking about testing it today.
Yeah.
You've not run it before.
I've not.
But that'll go 44 miles an hour, isn't that right?
In sport mode, it will.
And it'll track someone based on, not on GPS, but it'll track them with the camera.
Right.
And follow that person, and then, because it's not using GPS just to track who has the controller, it's following that person, and it also is doing conflict avoidance, so if it runs up against that tree, it'll go up and around the tree, continue to follow that person as they go. We wanted to test this today, but we didn't have time.
Yeah.
I had this opportunity at my house one day that all of a sudden all these police cars show up and sheriff's department and everything, and I live on a channel that connects a couple of lakes. And here's somebody up on the highway on 371 who got into a crash and he fled from the scene for whatever reason, I don't know. But this guy had ran. And he ran down our road and he ran through my property that I did not know.
Right.
And he hid in the bushes along the channel. That drone found him. Wow. That was the most amazing thing. That baby come. I said, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And he came over and that drone set right on top of him. Next thing you know, I've got AR-15s and SWAT teams coming through my yard. And they apprehended the guy. But that's how.
Well, you can't. Can they afford a helicopter? No, but you could do that with this. So. Yeah, it is. So
it wasn't me, thankfully.
I'm going to take off here, and once we get up 15 feet, it will recognize where it is, and then it can do something pre-programmed or whatever. But if I tell it, okay, go home, it'll come back and land in exactly the same spot. So we're going to take off. Come on, there we go. Tell it take off. And it knows I'm near St. Joe's. So I'm going to set it to shoot video. It'll shoot amazing still photos. So I go left, right. The left stick spins it around. Oh, let's go up a little higher again. So I can turn it around that way. There we go. And this goes left, right, forward, backward. There we go, and I can tilt that camera down so I can still see you. Here we are. Y'all want to wave? Right? There you go. Now, are they clean? No, they're good. So it's going to get up to 150 feet. And I don't know if you noticed on that screenshot, it tells me how high it is and how far it is from where it took off. So there we go. Who's got questions? You guys need to get back to work.
Is that 150 feet?
It is at 156 feet right now.
Uh-oh.
And it tells me it's not happy.
Yeah.
It's not happy.
Well, you can still hear it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool. Once it gets out over Rotary Park, you can't hear it. The hard part too is realizing you got to go by what's in your screen, because forward changes. That's how you crash these things. Forward isn't that way. Forward sometimes is that way. So
Does the wind push it around?
The wind does not. It's amazing. This thing it's in T, what's called tripod mode. It's less responsive to what I put in, but it is as solid as can be in strong, strong winds.
Has it argued with birds?
What's that?
Has it ever run into birds?
No, birds I think would avoid it. They can hear it. So we'll tell it to land. And it's just going to come straight down.
Dan, can you show how fast it can accelerate?
Sure.
Stop there, that looked like it was pretty easy.
Okay, stop landing. We're still going to bring you down. Alright, we'll put it in sport mode. Drones are legally allowed to fly 100 miles an hour. This one does 44, but people do drone racing. They do it in stadiums, like on the deck where they sell all the junk food for $1,000, you know. They race in that hallway. So, hopefully we won't hit a tree. Jeez. Yeah, sport mode is really...
Where'd he go?
Touchy.
Well, you have now crashed.
Yeah, I don't like sport mode. You gotta think too fast. So my...
And he thinks it's a big mosquito.
Yeah. Tenor is a little timid.
Get back roll.
I
thought it was a hunting dog.
Dan,
I'm going to tell it to go home.
give Sam a haircut.
Yeah, huh? What do you think happened to me?
Looks like it's going to.
I could get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, huh? Well, that's why you got to go. And that's why it's not that much fun.
Stay here. So
You gotta really be on your toes, and it's not. So I'm just having it land, but it'll watch the ground and know where the ground is. And nobody got hurt. Well, I just told them.
So thank you. We couldn't have done this indoors, so it's the perfect thing for outdoor. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to stand up and we'll sing Rotary.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, one prophet most who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
Bing. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Remember to answer your survey, please.